When I was growing up as a youngster, my great aunt used to, tell me stories of Ife. And one of the stories that I've heard over and over again is the story of Moremi and the Igbo. The Igbo would, come to Ife, they will raid the land. I'll tell you the full context later. So Ife is like a bowl, right? If you've ever been to Ife, it's like a bowl, right? Back in the day, about thousands of years ago, there's a depression apparently. Nisalayen, you have a swamp. All right, so that means that you have a body of water somewhere down there, and then you have a swamp, and then you have a valley. Now, around that water body, there was a group there that were called Igbo. Now, let me quickly say something. Latijo in Ife, we don't even call Ife, we call it Ufe. Right? The Ife, people don't use E the way the northern Yoruba side use E. So wherever you see E, most likely in Ife it will be U. So Ule, which is house, will be Ile. Ufe will be Ife. Ugbo will be Igbo. It's called dialectal differences. You see it with the Ekiti, the Ijesha, Ife. People in central and eastern, but in most cases, when the people in central Yorubaland, by central Yoruba I mean Ife, Ijesha, into the eastern Yoruba, like the Ekiti, where they use U, the people from the north will use E. So Ushu, Mondo. If you know any Ijesha person, they say Mondo Leisha. They are going to Ulesha, but the rest of the Yoruba, especially those from the north, will say Ilesha. But from Oto and Be, one will say Ulesha. So the U, the E, the U, the E, but we know what we're talking about. So I don't have to tell you it's Ulesha, you know it's Ilesha I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you it's Ushu, you know it's Ishu I'm saying. So to the Yoruba mind, to my aunt telling me the stories, she doesn't have to say Ugbo. Because listen, when the books were written about Ugbo, the Igbo people of the East were spelled as IBO. The books that talked about the Igbo people of Ife didn't refer to IBO. At the time they were writing those books with IGBO, the ones in the East were spelled IBO. The Easterners did not start spelling their name as IBO until the 1970s. Go and verify. Some are spelled IBO, some are spelled EBOE. For instance, one of the books I have here is by Olaudah Ekwano. It's called The Interesting Narrative of Olaudah. He wrote this history as Igbo, EBOE. Any book you find about the Igbo until the 1970s, what you will see will be IBO, including Sunset in Biafra that was published in 1973. Any document you find before the 1970s until the 1970s will have IBO. Even at those times when they referred to those in Ife, it was IGBO. It was never the same people. The spelling that changed because people were trying to self-identify or self-determine after independence, right? So yes, and by the way, the pronunciation is not B. It's not Igbo. It's more like Igbo. The is like BW rather than GB in pronunciation. The Yorubas don't have Igbo, they have Igbo. The Igbos don't have Igbo, they have Igbo. It is not B. Even in eastern Nigeria, it's not. Listen to anybody who is Igbo, tell them to pronounce what Igbo is. Forget the writing, let them say it. It is not the same. As a matter of fact, this man mentioned it in this book now. I just read it earlier. Let me read it to you again. Let me read to you from Basden's work. This book is called Notes on the Igbo Country, Southern Nigeria. There was a small town between Onitsha and Ida called Igbo, but this could hardly have supplied the name by which the whole country is known. The name was doubtless first met with at Onitsha. The people of this town claim to have come from the western side of the Niger, and some of the leading families state that they are of Bini stock. These people designate all the eastern hinterland as Igbo and the western side of the river as Enuani. The word is now usually spelled and pronounced IBO, Igbo, but to the native it is IGBO, Igbo. The GB, B, being used as an explosive sound, IBWO, Igbo, is probably the nearest we can get to the true pronunciation. It's not the same thing as if you have Igbo in Yorubaland, that means bush. Does that mean it's your people? And that's how you have insane people going on social media saying that they own Ijebu Igbo, Igbo Ora, anything with Igbo. It means bush. Igbo. Igbo. Both of them are not the same thing as Igbo. Igbo has nothing to do with Igbo or Igbo. So when you hear people say things like Igbo Ora, Ijebu Igbo, anything Igbo is now their own. That is how you will enter Igbo, because there's no way you are going to be telling people that you want anything that has something that looks like the spelling, not even the pronunciation, but the spelling. Meanwhile, you did not start using this spelling until 50 years ago. Let's tell history the way it is.